thought it was a bit of a shame that the last time we played this Rug Oath control deck, we only got to play one round with it. Challenge time. Welcome back, vintage gamers, to a Saturday challenge. I am a little bit out of voice today, but hopefully we'll be able to make it all the way through the event. This is a deck that I thought was really cool that we only got to showcase very briefly on the channel. There was a LCQ where I chose to register this deck as an answer to a Lurrus Saga metagame, and I only ended up going 0-1, and it's basically a single elimination tournament, so I was out. So we only got to see one match of this deck. The match itself went okay. I made like a slight land sequencing error that actually cost me a possible win. But I still think that the concept of this deck is good. And the reason the concept is good is because I think Ren and 6 Strip Mine is one of the best things you can be doing in right now in Vintage if you can find a shell that makes it work. And that's kind of the hard part. It's hard to play a red-green card in Vintage, but the Crucible Life from the Loam effect right now is at the all-time best it's ever been, probably. I think decks with Crucible, deck with Loam, deck with Ren are at a premium. I think that Energy Flux is your main board answer to a lot of what the format is doing, whether it's Jewel or Lurrus Saga. A mix of Energy Fluxes and Null Rods, depending on the matchup, is where I would like to be. It's very hard to find a deck that plays Energy Flux and Null Rod and is still very good. This is like one of the ways you can build it, I think. And I thought this is a nice way to showcase another 4-ponder deck. So we get to use our Delve spells and Ponders. The only thing I don't like about Ponder in this deck list is it's really bad with Forbidden Orchard. I wish this deck had more lands that could cast Ponder that weren't Orchard. I'd love to like trim Orchards down to 1 and play like a crop rotation package or something, but it's just like a lot of extra work for I don't know how much actual gain. The other problem is like you'd love to be able to search a Basic Island, but Basic Island plays so poorly with Ren and 6 that I just don't know if you could actually justify it. The rest of this deck is just like a very much a Rug Maharu style control shell. Just I have some tech pieces for the artifact field. More Dack Fadens than normal, I would say, because I think Dack Faden's actually at a really good spot. Dack seems to do a lot into the current metagame. It is a little annoying that it's like not great against a Bowmaster. That's definitely something we'll keep an eye out for during this event. Yeah, mostly the same. I've got Ravenous Traps instead of Ley Lines in the board because Dredge is like a predominant feature in the metagame right now, though there was a bunch of Countervine the other week, so maybe that is not actually the case anymore, so we'll have to see. This will be an interesting challenge because we have 56 players is actually still a pretty good number of players considering the showcase event is happening right now at the same time, as well as there being an NYC qualifier in Pennsylvania with like at least 25 players at it. So the fact that we have a good number of players today for the challenge is pretty sweet considering there's at least 2 other events happening and there are not that many vintage players. I will see you in round 1. Have you ever wanted to win your own real Black Lotus? The legendary NYSE Vintage Tournament returns this June 22nd on Long Island in New York. 15 proxy, high stakes, paper vintage action with 8 whole pieces of unlimited power as prizes. You are not going to want to miss it. Check out more information in the description below. I hope to see you there. Let's battle. Okay, round 1. I've got a Force, I've got an Oath, I've got a Ren and 6. Love it. Got a Gaia's Blessing I don't love, but this deck has to kind of play Gaia's Blessing. The Oath and Tell deck, where you play 4 Atraxas, doesn't need Gaia's Blessing, but the 2 Atraxa Oath one totally does. Looks like we got a Shops Gamer again. Yeah, Mystic Forge is just a little too good, probably. Oh, I guess it could just be Jewel, for what it's worth. Let's play a fetch land so we can get wastelanded, and then maybe we can play Orchard Oath and win. We'll see. Though I guess if it's Jewel, we're actually in a pretty rough spot where we don't have any more counter magic, and we don't really have a fast threat. The One Ring. So it is Jewel. It's going to be pretty hard to beat. They're going to draw 3 cards off this ring. But maybe we can get there still. We could always draw a Dack Fade in, like off the Atraxa stuff. Deactivating and stealing the One Ring is very, very fun. Mind Break Trap. Not that that would have been on in this game, right? I don't think this is going to be good enough. Maybe Mind Break Trap's enough to give us a turn. The One Ring protection does work against Oath, but it's already wearing out. So a second ring will give them another turn off. But, oh. Orchard does target. Okay, so I should have played Tropical Island. I was thinking about protection stops the Oath, which targets, but, yeah, so I should have played Tropical Island here, because now I can get, well, I can't get Wastelanded, right? Because they're on Jewel, so I guess it doesn't matter. But, like, this is my only play anyways, so whatever. It probably doesn't matter either way. But yeah, I did forget that. Oh, Orchard also targets, so they don't get a great. Opponent has Vault Key natural as well, and Tinker. All right, whatever. Yeah, I mean, we were not going to win this game after my opponent played turn 2 Jewel, or turn 2 Ring, I should say. Okay, our hand was fine, but it wasn't good against Jewel fine. But the good news is this deck is really good against Jewel. We've got 2 Null Rods, 2 Energy Fluxes, Mind Break Traps in the main, Nature's Claims in the board. Like, our deck is sick against Jewel. But you can always still lose to Jewel because Jewel is Jewel. Mental Misstep, Probe, Flusterstorm. Dack is good. Oak is fine. Narset's good. Maybe one of the slower Delve spells. Ren Wasteland is still good. Something like this is probably fine. I think I have like more than enough blue cards, right? Yeah, more than enough blue cards. Yeah, well, now that we know their Jewel, we know what we're looking for. We're looking for Null Rod is the single best Jewel answer. They can't really beat a Null Rod, and then Energy Flux is also pretty good. Yeah, I mean, if I had to build a deck to beat a Jewel hand, this one's pretty high up there. The only way to make this kind of set up better against Jewel is to have some Oops I Win combos in them. But as far as fair decks go, like we have the answers. Yeah, this one's not it, unfortunately. We do have an Oath on turn 2, but we have no counter spells. What is worth is we are not playing a full Moxen suite in this version of the deck because it's supposed to be more of a grindy deck built to beat Lurrus and play Null Rod and Energy Flux. So you do lose out on a lot of the power of Energy Flux and Null Rod if you don't have the ways to accelerate them. Yeah. Boom, boom. These hands are not it. Yeah, I swapped out the Moxen at the end of the last event. Not a huge deal, but definitely not a insignificant deal. I don't know if I'm allowed to keep this. I would assume I'm not allowed to keep this. If this, like... it's just not good enough, right? It's pretty unfortunate. Okay, this hand is fantastic. Keep. I put a Force and a Fetch on the bottom, and I play turn 1 Oath, and I have Force. Yep. Okay. Is it a ring with Force backup? Because that would be okay here. No. All right. So we get an Atraxa. The Atraxa still needs to hit, but there's a lot of good hit. Oh. Time Vault. Okay. 3 cards in opponent's hand. Looking to have like a piece of counter magic, a wasteland, and a nature's claim or something. I don't know if that's possible. It's probably not possible. We went all the way down to 19 without hitting the Gaia's Blessing. So we can't hit a bunch of good cards like Time Walk and Beseiju or Lotus. We did hit Wasteland, Force, Atraxa as a blue card, and Narset probably. I don't think we're going to take the Gaia's Blessing because I do think we're going to recycle our Oath on the next turn. I'll take the Oath out of the deck. I guess theoretically there's a world where they metamorph our Atraxa. Then we just attack and get a new Atraxa at some point. As long as I put this Gaia's Blessing back into the deck, then I think it's fine. I mean, there's actual functional no difference between Strip Mine and Wasteland, but sure, if it makes you happy. I guess they theoretically could have an island, but I'm never gonna hit the island, so I'm like using it to Wasteland their workshop right now, no matter what. And then I'm shuffling my whole library back into my deck. So just like thinking about the Atraxa. I don't think I want, yeah, I think I just want the blue card. Another Oath off the top. It's pretty rough. Maybe I do want the other Atraxa in the deck, actually. I don't know. Like, it's kind of important to keep getting blue cards. Yeah, I don't know. This is the thing I was like thinking about a lot. Like having this back in my deck. Is it a random order? Yeah, it's a random order. So like the Gaia's Blessing could be underneath my Atraxa, which would be a problem. Blue land, Time Walk. Sure. This is a 2 Atraxa list. I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to like. It's very important to get another Atraxa trigger, but it's also kind of important to. I guess if I had a second Atraxa trigger, that I'm guaranteed. Like I could draw the blessing. I'm leaning towards it was probably wrong to put the Atraxa in my hand. Well, you don't know that for sure, but I guess it's I guess that's true because we don't have a Moxen already. Like I'm pitching the Narset. So I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I was supposed to leave this Atraxa in my deck. I might lose the game because of it. We'll see. Yeah. Maybe I was supposed to like play 2 Oaths or something. I don't know. I need to. All right, I'll just shuffle these back in my deck. Yeah, it was pretty bad. It was pretty bad because I need to be able to trigger Atraxa again here. Yeah, it was really bad. Okay, good to know. That was really bad play. Might lose because of it. I guess they lose a crit flip, so it doesn't actually matter, right? Well, no, it would matter because I would get 7 cards. Yeah, it was so bad. Wow. This is going to end up being a loss because I fucked up. Wow. Oh, it's good to know. Yeah, I mean, I threw the game, so it's my fault. I just simply had to put it back in my deck. I thought it'd be fine, but it wasn't. Ponder doesn't matter. Ponder is a pretty irrelevant card. Yeah, no, I threw the game. I put the Atraxa in my hand and I lost the game because of it. There was just no actual good reason to, like, I know why I did it, but like it wasn't a good reason, so. I just need to update my heuristics because I've been playing the 4 Atraxa deck for so long that you just like always take the Atraxa no matter what because it's a blue card. But here I needed to guarantee another Atraxa trigger so I lose, you know? Ancestral Jet Saga is what they took. Well, it's just going to take too long. Like, it's just going to take too long. I guess if I draw a land and play a second Oath, I can do it, right? But I don't think I'm getting another turn for what it's worth. I think it's highly likely I die before then. No, like I threw the whole game because of one mistaking attracts the trigger. Good lesson though. Yeah, I don't know if there's like a force in those cards, but I mean, I'm saying we might still have lost the game, but like my play was definitely wrong. So this gets them a creature and an artifact, and yeah, this just gets them a key. Wait, they fucked up. Now they can die. Now it's a 50-50 whether they win or lose. Okay. Well, this game just got a lot better for us. This game is actually winnable now because my opponent tapped their Ancient Tomb. So now I can win the game on a 50-50 coin flip. So that's nice. I also win with Nature's Claim, right? If a Nature's Claim resolves, they go to 7 and then they die. No. Oh, this was such a bad play. It's actually incredible how bad that play was. I guess I'm going to like, well, if I flip over my yard, then I can't draw any cards. So yeah, I'm just gonna go to a coin flip and hope they lose. I threw this like this game was very, very playable, and then I threw the whole thing. So maybe I win anyways, but we'll see. 50-50. They lost the flip and I win. God bless. Magic is crazy game. All right, I never punished. Never punished. Absolutely never punished. It's good to know that my mistake didn't lose us the first round of another challenge. I've lost so many first rounds of challenges recently. Yeah, okay. So I mean, like I said, very important to know that I don't take an Atraxa there. I'm sure I would have to take Atraxa if I didn't have a second blue card, but because I hit the Narset and I had a blue card, it was fine. Yeah, I think it's mostly just a heuristic thing. Like when you play the 4 Atraxa Oath and Tell deck, you just want all your Atraxas in your hand all the time. 1 because of Show and Tell, 2 because of Force, 3 because you have more Atraxas coming. It's like very seldom you don't take an Atraxa off of Atraxa in the Oath and Tell version, but in this version, I really needed to have another trigger, and basically I needed a trigger every turn. Now, it's not guaranteed I get a trigger every turn because there's like a some amount of chance that I hit the Atraxa before I hit the Gaia's Blessing. So like it's not guaranteed I can do an Atraxa every turn, but I should have played towards that. All right. We get a second chance at life here. This hand has a why? If this hand had a force, I would keep it on the back of force, Mindbreak, Trap, Ancestral, and no blue land. But with just Mindbreak, Trap, and Strip Mine and 3 mana Planeswalkers, I think this one has to just go back. The Strip Mine doesn't really count as a land slot. It's the 19th card. It's more of a spell than anything, so it's like having a no land hand basically. I'm just gonna mulligan this. This hand has turn 1 Oath with Orchard, but no force, and we're playing against Jewel that kept 7 again. Just can't keep it. Very frustrating, but that's just the way this opponent's deck works. Opponent's deck is like an oops, all spells combo deck, basically. You have to have interaction, and this is not it. It's a little annoying I don't have the access to like Vigor, but Vigor's not even that good against Jewel anymore with the ring. But I need force, so it's very unfortunate because this is like one of the higher power hands that I can have. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Like this is a very good example of why you can't play your game. You have sometimes your opponent's deck is so powerful you have to play their game. If you keep this hand, you're just conceding the game. You straight up lose the game immediately. So you have to mulligan this hand. That one doesn't do it either. All right, 4 cards. Yeah, I mean, these hands were all garbage. Not much to say. Just going to keep this and hope we draw Mox. Maybe they'll keep a slow Saga hand. Would I have kept the Oath hand on the play? I think it's likely I would. I don't think it's like an amazing hand on the play or anything, but I think it's likely that I would. It's a fence grid. This hand's kind of good against the kind of start they kept, though, so maybe we'll be okay. I mean, our hand would have been pretty good against the fence grid, but... Oh, looks like it doesn't matter. It looks like they still have 4 mana on turn 2 after we wasteland them. All right, well... It didn't end up mattering. All right, I need to draw Mox right now. Did not draw Mox. I mean, I still have to wasteland, right? I mean, if they have a PO, I just lose. I guess if they had a PO, I would have already lost. But if they have a Jewel, I lose. Pretty sure I have to wasteland again. Okay. Well, they have nothing. I win? Maybe they have force. Is it a oops, I win scenario? Ah, sick. My opponent did not keep a keepable hand. You'd love to see it. I'll draw an oath. I do not deserve to win any of these games. I just opponent is a good supporter of the stream. Let's say that. Draw my blessing. Do I put wastelands back in my deck? I probably do. I mean, I need to draw a piece of action as well. Like, they could still draw Academy at any point here, and I'll probably lose, so... We gotta be a little careful. I mean, we don't have a choice, but... I don't think there's anything worth claiming. Maybe I should just claim the Time Vault, so they can't... I don't know. Yeah, I guess I should just claim the Time Vault, because I can't cast this on their turn unless I draw another land anyways. Ah, I drew the Oath. Sick. Yeah, I mean, what else am I doing with it? Saga? I don't know if Saga matters. I don't think Saga matters. I don't know. Maybe it's fine. I'll just pass. I didn't need to make this now, but I also don't think it matters that I made it now, so. I don't think I'm playing very well at the moment, unfortunately, but that's how it is. I don't have a Guy's Blessing in my deck, so I could lose the game by decking myself as well. That could be a problem. Let's see what happens. Nope, I just went a couple cards deep, lost some good ones, and hit my Atraxa. I'd found Time Walk, Wasteland, Oko, Null Rod number 2, Force of Will. Maybe I like blow up their defense grid so that I can counter on their turn or something. I don't think I'm going to be getting another Atraxa in this game. I don't need a Wasteland now. We can just go to my next turn. Like, going for a second Atraxa here risks losing the game for no reason. Where I don't really think I can lose the game at this point. Wasteland this. Attack with this. Claim their defense grid after playing Ren and 6 and then win. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we just won on a mold of 4 that contained no good cards, so small victories, I guess. I mean, large victories. Why are we saying small victories? Large victories, I guess. All right, I have double force on their turn and another Null Rod coming at some point. I mean, to be fair, their 7's like probably decent against like, yeah, your deck produces no blue mana, man. Like, what do you expect? Wait a second. How is this possible? How can they have this many cards? Didn't they have... I mean, their hand must have been Masticore Opal, and then they drew blue card, blue card, blue card, blue card after I played Null Rod? Is that what happened? Because they had a blue mana, right? I'd have to go back and look. But I assume that after I Null Rodded them, they drew all the cards in their deck that they can't cast. That's pretty funny. Okay, that is pretty funny. I don't have a blessing. I used my blessing. Yeah, they had a whole turn with Opal out, so they must have... Could they have played Masticore, though? Or did I wasteland them off the 5th mana? No, they played Lotus, so they could have played Masticore, right? They should have played Masticore, right? That would have won them the game. Am I crazy? I'd have to go back and look, but something doesn't make sense here, right? Let's go look. So at this point, they have 2 cards in hand. So it has to be... It has to be Opal Masticore, right? And they can't play it. Wait a second. And then they draw Lotus for turn. So they could have played Masticore on this turn, in which case they would have won the game. But they would have lost their mana. I see. Interesting. You have an Opal. Wait, what if you just use the Opal? What if you just do Monolith, Opal, Opal, Massacre? Then you don't have cards to pitch, right? Then you have no cards to pitch, so that doesn't really work. And you lose your card every turn. And you only have 1 card to work with. Okay, maybe that is bad. So maybe you can't play Masticore here. Did I only win this game because I drew a Black Lotus as well? So yeah, the only reason I won this game is because I drew one of my 4 mana accelerants. Whitelisted. Extremely whitelisted. Because my opponent after this would have drawn PO, 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 Ancestral. That is pretty unlucky for my opponent, I must admit. But yeah, I also agree that I don't think I would have kept my opponent's opening hand. So my opponent's opening hand was, because we can map this whole opening hand out, right? It's Ancient Tomb Defense Grid, Opal, Masticore, Grim Monolith, Workshop, or something like that. That's not... I mean, if they didn't get Wastelanded, then they have a Masticore against Oath. I mean, I don't think I would keep that hand as Jewel, but I also play Jewel very aggressively, so... Well, maybe they had a Time Vault. Yeah, I don't know. Like, you can just do so much better from Jewel. Like, I mulligan to a turn 1 for call. Like, I don't think that keeping like a turn 1 defense grid is the end of the world. It's a, you know, it's a counter bait. But you still need to have a payoff after the defense grid, and I don't think Masticore counts as a payoff. So I'd probably mulligan, but... All right, round 2 versus a very powerful wizard in Mog, probably on blue-black Lurrus. Gonna keep my turn 1 Narset. Hopefully we don't get Bowmastered. Mishra's Bauble. Look at me. Ox Pearl. Underground Sea. Lavinia? Oh, Time Walk. Sheesh. Alright. Seems good. Draw. Guess I should be happy I'm not getting Saga walked. Am I recording? Wait. I've turned into Geo Wizard. Saga Gaming. Pass. Oath. Ah, so they knew about my oath. Interesting. How do we play this out? They know about my oath. We can't play around Spell Pierce because they can Spell Pierce my Black Lotus. And I guess we just jam Black Lotus. I kind of just like playing Narset almost. Because I need to be able to hold up Wasteland as well. I think I see what they do with Black Lotus first. I guess this like opens me up to getting Bowmastered. I mean, they have to have a force, right? If I play Orchard and cast Oath, they have to have a force. They know about my Oath. Maybe that's why they time walked, so they could draw an extra card. I mean, they probably just time walk no matter what. It's just super awkward, right? I guess theoretically, if I pay for a Spell Pierce, then they could like Bowmaster plus Wasteland. Wow, this is like not a straightforward spot. I'm gonna jam. I am not confident in my correctness of this play. But the other plays just didn't look that good. Yeah, they had negation. I mean, they're on 7 forces. Don't think I'm tapping this Orchard to ponder. Maybe I am. 2 cards in hand. It seems like shit though. Kind of need another oath. Do they just have Bowmaster and Force? I was just like was super worried that Lotus Narset was like not good enough, and then I'm exposing my oath to a Spell Pierce on the second turn. Oh, they have Spell Pierce as well. Oh, they have Flusterstorm. Let's see. How many Flusterstorms are in their deck? 1. Okay. Alright, well, they have 1 card in hand, an active Saga, a Spirit Token. I have a Wasteland, so they're just making it 2/2. It's not the end of the world. It's not good. Okay, Strip Mine. I assume they're going to Strip Mine me, right? Yeah. Pretty far away from doing anything is the problem. Siege you. Kill the Saga token at some point. They actually have a choice here on whether or not to make a construct because they could theoretically, I guess, Bowmastering a spirit doesn't do anything. Never mind. I did say that earlier. It doesn't actually fucking matter, right? Because Bowmastering a spirit token just leaves you with 2 more creatures. So they're just gonna make a 2/2. We're still in wake up mode, I guess. I mean, the problem here is my opponent has on-color Pearl. So even a Wasteland lets them buy Lurrus and play Lurrus. So I'm gonna get Lurrus out of this game, right? Like they missed a land drop. That's kind of helpful. I drew up Mox. I don't think they have a Lavinia, so I could theoretically hold this. Yeah, I guess I guess I could Besage you something, but I don't really want to Besage you anything. Like Besageing this gives them mana, which they don't have. I just play the Sapphire out. I guess they can Spell Pierce this, but that's probably better for me. So I think my opponent's probably just playing another match, right? They're in the standard challenge as well. Yeah, that's what it is. Okay. Oh, they do have a Bowmaster. My clock is rapidly coming to a head here. I take 5. I'm not even sure I'm going to have enough time unless I draw Oath immediately. So I guess I probably have to Besage you this construct. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Unless I draw Oath immediately. This lets them buy Lurrus and play Lurrus on the next turn. Can I end of turn Besage this? I go to 10, I go to 9, I go to 8. Yeah, I think I can. Really don't want to give them a land for this turn. Just seems like a really bad idea. They have a second Bowmaster? Also, killing this means I can't Dack it, which is a play I could possibly make at some point in this game as well. I think I'm still supposed to... What is this? Demonic? Seems bad for me. Besage you the Mox. What does that do? Take 1 less damage? I don't know about that. I might get Ancestral targeting me out of this game. Maybe they get Ancestral and I land a Narsa, so they have to attack Narsa. Maybe they just get Time Twister, right? Does the deck play Time Twister? Does. Oh, I can't Besage you them if they get Time Twister. I guess if I have a Narsa, that wouldn't help me. So they'd have to attack it first. But then I'd still die. I don't think I can win this game. I think we jammed on turn 1 and it didn't work out and we lost, but I'm not really sure that jamming on turn 1 was bad. All right, they can't get Time Twister if they don't have 3 mana, right? So I'm just going to assume they didn't get Time Twister. And I'm going to Besage you this. Oh, I guess that makes them Ancestral now. Okay, wait, this is shit too. Everything's bad. I feel like all of my plays are just terrible. Oko. Can I do anything with an Oko? If I make a food, go to 5, maybe go to 2, maybe die to Ancestral target me. I actually can't beat Ancestral target me, can I? I guess if I Narset and I hit a Force, but it's not really helping me, right? It's gonna be Ancestral target them. Yeah. I mean, I'm also probably not beating that. But this is, at least, I'm not getting Ancestral for lethal, so I think it's a slight upgrade. Nice. I mean, I did Besage you my opponent after they demonicked for an obvious Ancestral, so maybe it's my fault. I gave them the land to cast Ancestral Recall whenever they wanted. However, I don't think any of my other lines were also winning, so maybe it's here and there. And a wasteland. It's a good ancestral. And a cruise. All right, get me out. Get me out. Get me out. Seems a bit better than drawing Mishra's Baubles. All right, so I'd like to play Fluxes over Null Rods. But besides that, what kind of changes? I don't really like Negation. My opponent does have Vault Key and Twister, though. So it does go up in value. Yeah. Maybe I just play one. I play Fluxes and Claims. They are on the 4 bauble draw engine. So, like, there is some value in playing Null Rod as well. Null Rod doesn't play super well with my Energy Flux. I don't think I need more than Flux, though, against Blue-Black. I should need to be careful with my Ponders against Bowmaster. Yeah, I was on the draw there, and I just didn't really have a great way to grind against turn 1 Mox Time Walk, so I just went all in on an Oath, which played around a spell pierce that they didn't use on Lotus for some reason, which I guess is not exactly a great play, but I mean, if they spell pierced the Lotus, it would have been fine for us. They knew we had Oath, so like there's I don't know. Like I'd like to have played a grindy game, but I just didn't really have the cards to do so on the draw. I mean, my Ponder did get Flusterstormed, so it wasn't like my Ponder did nothing. Just eat a Fluster, which doesn't counter anything else in my deck besides Force, so... Kind of just an awkward game, but also a game that we could like very easily theoretically win based on just our first turn. Whoa. 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 All right, I'm gonna draw the Time Walk now and the Black Lotus on the next turn. Just because it's a blue card, I could pitch the Force theoretically. And then our next turn could be something like Dack Ren or Dack Time Walk, or if we get Wastelanded, just Ren Time Walk. So I guess Ren and Time Walk I can't do, right? Because Ren doesn't cost blue mana. So I can't do that, but I can protect Ren. No, I can't protect Ren with Fluster either. Wasteland would be pretty annoying here, come to think of it. I'm definitely going to play Dack. Get around Spell Pierce. Maybe I'm supposed to just lead Ren. Let's think about this for a second. I can lead Ren and have Fluster or Time Walk. It's kind of hard to Dack on the next turn because I have to break my Lotus to Time Walk. I think I just like playing Dack. So Dack is like kind of weak into Bowmaster, I guess. We still get the Ruby though. And we have a Ren and 6 on the next turn, so maybe it's not weak into Bowmaster. Always casting Time Walk after Dack? Probably. Kind of a weird spot, huh? Maybe I'm supposed to... Yeah, I don't know. Feel this ruby. Are we supposed to time walk here? I guess if I hadn't floated a... I guess I wasn't supposed to float a blue. I was supposed to float a red. So I could play a Ren after if I didn't fluster. So odd. Huh. I don't have enough experience in this spot. I feel like that should be an instinctive play, but it wasn't. So this is maybe Bowmaster kill my Dack. I don't know if I like what I've done here. Oh, this is just counterspell. Okay. That, in general, looks good to me. Okay. This worked out, but I'm not really happy with the way I played it. I think I would have liked to flow red and just played a Ren instead of playing a Time Walk. Because I still could have Fluster Stormed after floating a red. So I'm like fine with my Time Walk getting flustered though. That's okay. Saga. Need a Wasteland. Oh, they're playing a Bowmaster now. I think I'd rather just try to force this. So I have a Dack activation. A Narset. Aw. I have so many choices now. Yeah, I should have floated red. I agree. What am I supposed to do here? They have too many cards in hand to Narset them, to deck them. I'd like to find a Wasteland, right? So just plus Dack first, and then if I don't find a Wasteland, I can go either Ren up or Narset. Narset doesn't find me a Wasteland. Narset finds me a card, though, so I could Narset first, but I think that's worse. Feel like it's just activate first. All right. So I could pitch Narset Emerald and go Ren, activate Dig. I lose out on a Narset. I feel like a Narset's good here, though. I could just resolve a Narset right now. I could just pitch Dig Emerald and play a Narset. I kind of hate that, though, because I'm not advancing my mana. I want to, like, make sure I have a Ren and 6 in this game. That's also true, I guess. We could theoretically just pitch Narset Emerald, cast Dig first for a Wasteland. What do I lose in that scenario? Do I lose my fetch in that scenario? Or can I keep my fetch? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can keep my fetch. What if my dig gets countered? My dig's not getting countered. But then I have to take a mana off of my... Oh, no. If I have a Wasteland, I don't need to take a mana off my dig. It's probably the highest upside play. I could theoretically not take a Ren and 6. I could just take dig and Narset. Wow. I don't know the answer. It's kind of interesting spot. I don't know the answer to that question. I guess I theoretically could keep another card if I wanted to use my Ruby. I hit the Wasteland and hit Ancestral. All right. Cool. Am I supposed to Wasteland the Saga? Or am I supposed to just Wasteland their Sea? Is there any way I can get punished? Time Walk, I guess. Just Wasteland the Saga. I'm not really sure I played this game very well either, but it was a pretty hard game. There was a lot of choices. Pretty sure I'm mostly worried about getting Bowmastered, so I have to play around Bowmaster. But I mean, I'm just gonna play Wasteland Saga here, or Saga Red and 6 lock here. So I also have some cool things like if I activate Dack and they Bowmaster, I can Ancestral in response. It's probably not worth it. It's still probably bad. Yeah, it's just Red and 6 Wasteland at this point. I mean, stealing the ruby was extremely big because it just like made them too. They didn't have enough mana, right? After we took the ruby, they just haven't had enough mana this whole game to play with what we were doing. Okay. I think we're good spot in this game, but we have kind of drawn all the good cards, so it's it's definitely more likely to happen when you draw the good cards. I like Dack Fade in right now. I mean, it's like I said, it is definitely awkward with Bowmaster existing, but like we're kind of back to a point where the steal is extremely relevant. Can't believe I discarded a Narset here. It worked out. It was pretty nice, but it felt real bad. Need some water, probably. Oh, this is great. I mean, they probably get a basic here, right? Because they know that they can get Ren locked. This means I can cast Ancestral first, though. Before, like, activating Dack or anything. Oh, wait, I put a bunch of... No, it's actually fine. Never mind. Another Underground Sea. So now I probably... Well, I don't want to get Spell Pierced on my Ren and 6. I probably still am Ancestraling first. Oh, blue for what? Treasure Cruise? It's pretty good here. Bring me back my Narset. They don't have enough mana for Treasure Cruise. Oh, they do. They have exactly 7. Jeez. Mog's so good. Damn, I thought we were in a good spot. Wobble Lorien revealed. Cruise. Pyroblast. I don't even think I registered a Pyroblast. Nope. I hate that card. I probably should have registered a Pyroblast just because there's a lot of bug now. I didn't change the list very much. It probably should have a single Pyroblast somewhere in the 75 for bug. It is Cruise. I'll strike the fear in their hearts. Just kidding. You got it. Cruise resolves. Wait, why is it still on the stack? What's going on? Is this like the bug where if you tap, it gives priority back or something? I didn't mean to do this. I'm not trying to time Mogged out. Yeah, but like I just passed priority, so shouldn't the spell automatically resolve? They are double queuing a standard challenge, yeah. All right, well, opponent's got a lot of cards now because they're going to draw up to 6 on my turn from the bauble. So I'm actually like way behind in cards now. Oh, standard challenges are great on MTGO. High value. I heard the standard format's quite good right now. The only problem with standard is the leagues are a little underpopulated. That's the only thing I hear about as a complaint about standard on MTGO. Oh, I mean, Magic Online is just a better place to play standard than Arena. You know, just a much better place. But yeah, Arena did do a number on the standard MTGO player base, that's for sure. Yeah. I mean, that's quite possible. Yeah, Mogged is definitely a powerful wizard. That's for sure. Yes. If we go to a game 3, time will be an issue. I didn't time them out in game 1, right? But like I also was dying very fast. Like one more turn or something, so. But I mean, they're also like a Magic Online grinder. They can play fast, so. Maybe we should tap Mox Ruby again. Oh no! Don't let the bad brainwaves get to you, not me. Don't become the person. Playing for time is fine. Bug abusing for time is not fine. I haven't been playing very fast in this game either, for what it's worth. I have only 14 minutes on my clock. I've had some very hard choices that have taken a little while, like the Black Lotus Oath play and the Dack Faden sequencing and choices. Some interesting spots. I'm sure he's like in the finals of a standard challenge or something. I don't know when standard challenges happen. Mogged is currently, yeah, he's 5-0 in the standard challenge in the final round. Wait, doesn't that mean he's locked? Why didn't he just concede? Wants the 6-0 for the tweet value. I mean, if my opponent like Vault Keys me, I will make them play it out. So that is a problem that could happen to us, by the way. We could definitely get Vault Keyed after my opponent took a turn and drew 5 cards. Though they don't have any extra Moxen man at the moment, so maybe we'll be okay. I heard the standard format's kind of hard. But I don't know any details because I have not played standard in many years. Booble. I'm gonna draw some more. All right, so untap. I think I'm gonna Ancestral in my upkeep with these 2 baubles on the stack. Chat, agree or disagree? I think it's a good idea. Before I get mental misstepped, right? All right. So now we have a million cards. We're definitely going to Dack first. See if we can find our own something good. Mental misstep. Okay. I think I'm just going to pitch. So I wanted like a way to force my Renin 6 through. I guess I can do that with a force. Pretty sure I can just pitch fetch land, Oath. I don't think Oath is going to matter in this game. And then just play a Ren for my Wasteland lock. I do think... Oh, wow. There's a Daze in this deck now. I'd love to force my Ren through, but now I'm a bit worried. If they have another counterspell, forcing a Daze is super low value. I think I'm better off just like trying to find another Ren, right? And like play Volcanic and pass. I'm a little worried about this game. I couldn't like play around this Daze because I wanted to play a Wasteland this turn. I was kind of hoping to like they would force and I would force back kind of deal, not that they would Daze me. This deck can play Daze. Four Wasteland, 4 Saga. It's got 5 islands in it. I mean, the likelihood they have a force is so high, isn't it? They have an island and 5 unknowns, and they've used 0 forces this game. I think I just let this happen. Not happy about what just occurred. Saga Gaming. I mean, I can get Bowmastered as well. Seiju. They drew 2 more cards after my Ancestral, though. I mean, I'm going to have to force a Bowmaster no matter what, right? So... Lux. I have no idea how we're supposed to play through this game. I can just resolve a Flux right now. I feel like I'm supposed to brainstorm right now. Yeah. Glad that worked out. Or I have to like deal with another Bowmaster. I got a lot of choices, man. I got so many choices. Maybe I'm the one who's gonna time out in this game. All right. Game 3. Tabernacle for timeout value. No, no, no. No, 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 no. Yeah, this hand has some inherent risks in it, but it's probably a keep. Wasteland. Ancestral. All right, I need to see what you're working with here. Force, fluster, fluster, force, wasteland, wasteland. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. How the hell do we play that out? Could force through a ancestral right now and then get wastelanded. Is that actually good though? Not really convinced that's a good play. I don't know which wasteland that was. This one? I can 100% resolve my ancestral right now. It just doesn't seem good. I don't know. Fuck. That went really badly, huh? Maybe I should have. I guess I just should have. Like, if I don't draw a land there, it's like GG, right? Well, there's no way they buy Lurrus, right? Really? Isn't that insanity? There's no way you can buy Lurrus there, right? I actually get to get 2 uses out of my land. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, no. What do I do? Do I ponder? Resolve an oath? Brainstorm? I can't brainstorm. Orchard. Force. I'll just wait on this force until next turn, right? So I can just go... Or should I just go Emerald, get my oath countered this turn? Yeah, it's even better, right? All right, I think we're okay here. What a weird game. Oh, we're just doing it? Okay. Oh, they hit the underground sea. Should I still wait on this oath to have a force? Probably not. No, we only know Lurrus. So they have 2 unknowns. They can have like a Spell Pierce, Stays, Force, blue card. I guess we could have always brainstormed into a Force. And there's no reason not to do that right now. They had their own brainstorm? Interesting. Because I'm going to get a Force and put my Gaia's Blessing back on my deck. Do I want Claim or Strip Mine? Probably Claim. I guess I could just not play the Sapphire. I don't have a blue source. I want the Time Walk, so we'll shuffle first. And then I'll take Fetch, Ren, Force, Ponder. GG's from the opponent. All right, not bad. All right, on to round 3 versus the Doomsday Master, or one of the Doomsday Masters, I should say. Our hand has 2 counters, 3 counters almost. Not a bad one. This deck has like a nice set of tools for Doomsday in the fact that it can like take a grinding value-based approach. The problem ends up being you don't have like a lot of oops I win capability to pressure Doomsday into comboing. So I think it's generally kind of unfavored. Should get a basic island, I assume. It's fine. I actually think there's a lot of value in forcing my opponent to get a basic island here. Which is why I played the Wasteland out. Like, we can still play around days with our Wasteland. We don't show them that we're on Oath, and we, like, force them into a situation where they're fetching a basic island, which is not always the best in Doomsday. However, missing out on another blue card so that we could have Force trap is definitely problematic. They got Force of Will. That's that ranks up there on very bad signs. They mysticaled for Force? Wait, what? They mysticaled for Force and passed the turn? No way, right? Oh, no, they just went to second main. Dark Ritual Doomsday with Force Island backup. I mean, I need to be able to use this Mindbreak Trap, right? So I'm just supposed to force this. Like, the best situation is my opponent forces back down to 1 card, I trap the stack, and then I untap, draw a blue card. Okay. So that like worked really well for us. Now we just draw a blue card and I think we're winning. Preordain, sure. We also have Wasteland on their C if we really want to. They went bottom bottom. Black Lotus. This lets me cast Ren and Oath, right? Should be enough. Kind of surprised my opponent went Mystical Force. But I guess they had a win with Force if Force was enough, so it makes sense. Would they pitch to Force? Treasure Cruise. Yeah, so they're just going for the turn 2 win with Force backup. Makes sense. We definitely got him with the nice main deck Mindbreak Trap, though we did have Force, double Force anyways, so... all right, so obviously Flux doesn't do anything here, but also I don't really have a lot of cards to bring in either. I guess we're just gonna keep a Null Rod because none of these cards do anything. Dismember does nothing, Claim does nothing, Sarazamahir does nothing, Null Rod does something, Flux is a blue card, Trap does nothing. So I think our worst card is Flux, and we'll play a second Trap. We are kind of pre-boarded for this matchup. This matchup could be better if we had Pyroblasts. Yeah, the more I think about it, maybe the more Pyroblast is supposed to come back into the metagame if there's going to be Bug and Doomsday running around, huh? Dismember kills Oracle. Yeah. That it does. That it does. All right, so I'm going to submit. I think Null Rod's fine. I just don't think Null Rod's, like, good. But it's definitely better than any of the other options, so... Yeah. That it does. I got the hard-hitting advice from chat, so... This is a Force and a Ponder. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to keep... Deck is broken. Has been called. Basic Island. Preordain. Bum, 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 bum. Siege you. Not the strongest Magic the Gathering card in this instance. Ponder. Emerald, Ruby, Ponder. This feels like a keep to me. I'm gonna go Emerald, sorry, Ruby, Emerald? I'm gonna go Emerald to play around Days, and then we can draw Ponder, and we can fetch. They passed? They went one top, one bottom. Are they just, like, going to second main to see if I have a Force? Okay. They keep doing that. Yeah, you got a Brainstorm. Ruby threatens Pyro, but I don't actually have Pyro, and I think the Emerald is, like, slightly more valuable here, but it's not exactly straightforward. It shouldn't have any more basics, so... Man, they are just chaining off cantrips. Not ideal for us. This is like the kind of situation you can get yourself in where they are like churning through their deck at top speed and you are like falling behind. So we draw the Ponder, we fetch away the Emerald. Just gonna get a Trop, I guess. And then I'm gonna cast another Ponder, or should I cast a Run and 6 to play around Daze first? Probably cast a Renin. Well, it depends on what I draw off my Ponder. Kind of think I'm okay if I get Dazed, actually. Oath, Null Rod, Narset. This sucks. Because the Null Rod's not really good here, and the Oath is definitely bad. The Narset is good, but if I keep the Narset, I don't have any way to shuffle unless my Ren 6 100% resolves. Maybe that's fine. Yikes. I think this is just a mull, though. I think I just shuffle this. Oh, I don't think they'll ever counter the Oath. That's the problem. Don't think they'll ever do that, especially because I've already played my land drop this turn. Like, realistically, this is like 1.75 dead cards. The Narset is just so good, though. The Narset is like absolutely the card we're looking to draw. I'm gonna shuffle this. I think it's just not good enough. That's certainly better in the long run. I think we're gonna lose this game by a lot. Is my likelihood here. We don't have enough counters. We're tapped into Daze. It looks really bad. Is this Street Wraith? Oh, is it Dig Through Time, probably? Yeah. I can't even make it to Cruise Mana. I mean, I kind of can make it to Cruise Mana. Trying to figure out which card I'm pitching to cast Force here. I mean, we have a Boseiju, so theoretically, like, if they make a pass the turn pile, we could hit them with, like, Boseiju Wasteland and, like, keep them completely off or something. Like, there are theoretical worlds where we can win, maybe. Very unlikely, though. Most likely, they just Doomsday with, like, a Daze back up here and kill us or something. I think I'm more interested in just, like, trying to rip a blue card, right? Maybe not. I don't know. It looks so bad no matter what. I guess we could do double Boseiju if we theoretically here. Like, if they don't have a Wraith or a Gush, we can go double Boseiju. If they, like, don't build a Lotus pile or something. If they ever pass the turn. Like, if they have a Wraith or a Gush, then obviously we lose on the spot. There wasn't a lot we could have done about that. I guess we could have kept a Narsa and we would have had double Force. Is that true? If we kept a Narset and played a Run in 6, we'd have double Force. So maybe that was a mistake. Or was that not the case? My opponent is like the best or second best Doomsday player on the platform. Their ranking, their win rate is usually around Discoverin. Oh, I dropped it. Okay. All right, so my opponent did build a Black Lotus pile. So the double Boseiju line doesn't work here. They didn't build a Gush pile. They must have built an Ancestral pile. I mean, we still are probably going double Boseiju. I didn't actually check to see if they have any underground seas. No. So I want to draw a blue card and double Boseiju them and see if that works. I drew an oath. Fuck. So I think we're just deterministically dead then. But I think the way I played this was good. If I had drawn a blue card off of the top of my library, I think we're like in a winning spot, right? Possibly a winning spot. I wish I hadn't built a freaking Lotus pile. Nah, I wish they had built a Gush pile. They built an Ancestral pile with Lotus, so we just lose. No, Beseiju doesn't shuffle, right? Or, yeah, Beseiju doesn't shuffle, so. They don't search, doesn't shuffle. We needed to draw a blue card, and then I think we actually could have won this game. But we didn't draw a blue card. I'm not convinced I played that correctly, so. I liked what we did. Just if my opponent had built a Gush pile, they would have lost. But they didn't build a Gush pile, so. Could draw like a mental misstep. All right, on the play, I've got turn 1 Oath. Oh no. Oh no. Turn 1 Oath Orchard Wasteland. Against Doomsday. You think this is a snap keep? I do not agree with your assessment. It may be a keep, but it's definitely not snap. Oh. I kind of hate it, man. I'm probably keeping this hand. I'm going to be perfectly honest here. I'm pretty sure I'm keeping it. If it didn't have Wasteland, I would probably mulligan it. Because I think this at least means I have 2 pieces of interaction. Dress down. Man, they have dress downs in their deck. Sicko mode. How many forces do they play? It's probably 5. It's probably 1 negation and 4 force of will. And then they have like tons of like dazes and stuff post they untap, so. They've had their 1 basic island in every game as well. 2 times they didn't even tutor it. Pretty unlucky for me. Bottom is lucky though. All right, well, I got to draw some action here. That is technically action. I don't really want to give them another blocker to get an attack right now. Though I could just stand up the Ruby and attack right now. It's like worse, right? It's just worse. I mean, my opponent having basic island here was so bad for us because I guess if they had a fetch land, it's the same thing, so maybe it doesn't matter. But there are definitely hands where your opponent keeps, like, they are 4 Underground Sea deck. You know, they could just keep an Underground Sea hand. I guess that's kind of unlikely. I don't think Animate Mox is good. It just gives them another blocker. Don't really feel like it helps. Oh, I mean, I could do that, but, like, I'm not gonna stand up both my Moxins in this game. I don't think animating tap Mox is good either. I want to stand up and attack with this one, and then I can use a Mox on the second turn. It's better. I mean, my opponent is just murdering me, so it doesn't really matter. They had turn 1 counterspell into Delve Spell on turn 2, so don't think anything I choose to do matters at this point. I'm a little surprised they keep in negation against me, but maybe I shouldn't be. Like, you need to think about it. Like, if I draw a 3-mana spell, I want to be able to play my 3-mana spell and wasteland my opponent without activating Orchard. So I need all this mana next turn. Oh yeah, I'm just fucking murdered. It's bad. Doomsday is an unbeatable deck. Anyone who tells you otherwise is just lucky. Have I ever beaten a Doomsday player on stream? I don't think so. Yeah, my opponent played a turn 2 Delve spell. So, like, what are we gonna do here? Hey, look, I got rewarded for not standing up my Mox. God. Sometimes, man. Sometimes I'm pretty damn good at this game. Yeah, the only way Doomsday loses is pilot error. It's impossible for Doomsday to lose based on the deck, right? I guess my best draw is probably Narset, right? I mean, Ancestral maybe, but... I would say we're like a 10% to win this game. My opponent has 7 cards in hand, by the way. They're building up Storm for Flusterstorm. It's pretty based. Everyone should play Doomsday. The deck is broken in half. Like, it's not close. It's the broken deck. I guess theoretically they don't have any blue mana here, so I should actually play the game out. I don't know. I could have mulliganed my hand, right? That's the choice I chose in this game. But I force checked them and they had a force, so I lost. I am willing to do that a lot of the time, especially against these high power decks. I mean, if they pass the turn and I draw Time Walk, then I technically kill them, right? Wait, what? They're gonna consult for a Street Wraith? Oh, they consulted for a Force of Will? What just happened? My opponent consulted for a Force of Will with Doomsday on the stack still. Did they lose anything good? They lost a time walk. But now I'm dead, right? Because they have a force of will. I mean, to be fair, Doomsday is performing worse than it used to. The problem is what Doomsday used to do was be broken in half and be the best deck in the format. So, like, Doomsday performing worse means instead of being a 56% deck, it's a 53% deck or 52% deck or whatever. All right, so my opponent put a force in their hand with Consult, so I don't think I have any outs here. Oh well. I don't think Restrict Oracle does fucking anything. Sorry. Restrict Oracle is the dumbest thing people say all the time, unironically. It is just, it doesn't do anything. It doesn't matter. It doesn't do anything meaningful. Jeez. So they had Force of Will and Flusterstorm? Or I guess maybe they topped their pile with, I mean, they must have had Flusterstorm and Force in hand. I don't know. There's like, they just combo kill you with 5 counter backup. there's no counterplay. I think Doomsday is a much more restrictable deck than Saga. Saga is good play patterns. Doomsday is bad play patterns. It's just people think Saga is bad play pattern because they've seen it before or something. I don't know. Like there's just like there's no way you can be like, yes, Doomsday, that's okay, but Saga, that card's too good. It's just wild to me. Because most people argue, like, they don't argue for stats for Saga. They argue about play patterns, and, like, I don't understand, because arguing about play patterns, Doomsday Saga has, like, the most fair play patterns in the entire format. It's crazy. All right, rough first loss. All right, we battle. Round 4 of 6 up against Lurrus, I assume. Oh, not Lurrus. We are not playing against Lurrus. Interesting. Interesting. Why? Countervine? Why is he playing Countervine? That would be odd. I'm probably never mulliganing this hand, so. Chancellor of the Annex? God. What? So mad. This is not ideal. Dahlia? Oh. Chalice on 1. Okay, so I'm gonna throw the Ancestral into the Chalice / Chancellor. I think it's countered, chat. I'm not 100% sure, but I believe it's been countered. And then I'm gonna time walk into Dack Fade and steal the jet. Oh wait, unless I need to draw a different land to do that probably. Oh, Renin 6. Interesting. Because if I steal the jet, I lose my Dack Fade into the Orchard. Maybe that's fine. But if they have Ancient Tomb, it's like not great. If I play the Renaissance first, I can shoot the Dack Fade in, or the Orchard token. I don't even need to, there won't even be an Orchard token. I'm like super worried about Ancient Tomb though. That's what I'm really worried about. But I feel like Renin 6 here is just not good enough. I'm not particularly confident on this line. But I do know that taking a Mox from your mono white opponent can be backbreaking. Nice. They didn't have an Ancient Tomb. Alright, Dack is dead. So I think I like play Renin 6 and play Oko, shooting a spirit token and standing up a jet. My spirit token can't die. Or sorry, my Renin 6 can't die after that. That goes to 2. Solving problems that I created myself. Don't know if the sequencing there matters at all, but I have won the game. That's nice. Just can't seem to draw my next card. I don't really feel like this matchup is very good. So we take those. It's weird that my Oath deck isn't good. I don't think my Oath deck is very good against a creature deck, but I just don't. I feel like their tools are so powerful. Like the Oath Intel deck has a lot better matchup against it, and it's still pretty damn close. My deck is just too clunky, basically. Claim is probably not even good. I can't cut too many blue cards, though. You probably keep Narset just because it helps you find a Oath, but maybe not. I don't actually care about Chalice or attacking their mana or anything. So maybe it's just this. Matchup's tough. They're just so fast. Well, I hope I don't get Chaliced. Or I hope I don't get Chancellored, I should say. Definitely keep her. This hand's very strong, but it... Yeah, you... well, kind of, and kind of yes and kind of no. Because they exile your creatures, but you have 4 creatures, so maybe you could cut it? I'm not really sure. Keep. No, woo, we didn't get Chancellor. That's so good for us. What? We kept a 7-card white land pass? But why? But why did we do that? Should we strip mine them? Is there like any downside of just going Tropical Ancestral on their turn? Like we can overdraw like crazy if they don't like push. They can just go like Cavern Thalia, I guess. I don't know how I feel about this play that I just made. Oh, there goes my... I have a strip mine still for Ren 6. Is there any downside to Ancestral upkeep versus later? I don't think so. I don't have mental missteps. So it is Cavern Thalia, huh? See, like, this is a huge problem. Because I don't think I want to cast Ancestral into this. Maybe it's fine. I could just wait and then dismember it later. Just like a terrible use of my mana. I can't ever play an Oath, though, on turn 2 here. It's not that I'm passing up 3 cards. It's that I'm passing up 3 cards now because I'm just going to overdraw and lose them. Right? Strip mine is pretty bad for me, though. I guess I could still cast Ancestral if I want to. I have Ren and Dig. But I can't cast those cards. Like, I can't... I'm going... Like, it's... I'm still going to lose all of that. All right, well, I think here... I mean, maybe they have Containment Priest is what's happening. I don't want to get my things strip mine, and I don't have a land drop, so I feel like I'm just supposed to cast Ancestral here. Sure. Yeah. But isn't that, like, fine? I don't know. It's all kind of garbage. Like, I don't actually want to cast Dismember right now. Oh, this is so bad. I feel like we're just going to get lose to, like, freaking 2-drops. Like, this is the exact problem with casting Ancestral. But I had to cast Ancestral there because I was going to get Wastelanded. You wanted me to cast the Ancestral into the Thalia. What? I just didn't want this situation exactly happening. It still ended up happening, but... I don't know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I mean, these are not the lands we were looking for. Well, there's, like, not very many cards that are good draws, is what I'm trying to say. Like, there's very, very few cards that were good to draw. Like, Mox, there's, like, 4 Moxen in my deck, and those were, like, the only cards that were good to draw. Like, I don't really want to dismember this Thalia, because I can just play another Thalia. But I also don't want to discard 2 cards. I don't know. I think I'm going to discard 2 cards. It's just a really awkward situation. Also, we're going to take 1,000,000 damage for our Dismember, but I can't Dismember this beforehand because I can't let them just, like, play another one. I'll just be so far behind. Oh, they have no follow-up? Maybe they have another Containment Priest? Okay. I mean, my Force of Wills have been very bad in this game. It's kind of a great draw. The problem is I'm just not on board beating these 2/2s at the moment. But I can put them off entirely off mana and then cast Dig next. Oh, I can't cast Dig next turn if I put them entirely off mana. Shit. I guess I don't need to entirely put them off mana. I can just get back a Tropical Island and strip mine the Cavern. I don't have a lot of time here, but maybe they'll take a whole turn and kill my Wrenn and 6. I do have a strip mine in my yard. Feels like it would make sense for them to take a turn to kill Wrenn and 6. One at me? Oh, they're both at me. Okay. I was really hoping they would take a turn to kill Wrenn and 6, to be honest. Ah, they drew Ancient Tomb. Okay. I mean, I have to strip them once, I think. Oh, what am I drawing to, though? I mean, like, Oath doesn't do anything because I don't have a Dress Down in my deck. I'm not even sure what I'm actually drawing into at all. I'm actually dead on board because I don't actually have 2 blue mana sources. So I have to just wasteland them here and pass, I guess. I guess I just wait and do a dig on their turn and go to 1. But then they're going to cast a spell and I'm going to lose to it. Go to 1. Can't force. I mean, I don't really have choices, really. Oko is definitely what we're looking for. I go to 1. I mean, I'm just going to lose to whatever they cast, but... I mean, this technically stabilizes if they have no follow-ups, right? Looks like they're going to cast a Seasoned Engineer and kill me. It's quite unfortunate. Guess they can hit a land technically here. But I'm just going to lose eventually. This game was frustrating. I don't know if I could have done something different, though. I mean, I could have made some changes early in the beginning of the game and, like, gone for Dismember earlier, right? I just fell way too far behind on the draw. All right, I died. I feel like it's my fault I lost this game, but I'm not 100% sure which spot was the one we needed to change. I did find all my mocks, and I just found them all later, right? I don't think I have enough mocks in to make Null Rod good on the play here. Just gonna submit. I have a lot of dismembers for Containment Priest, but I just, like, had to dismember the Thalia to play the game because I was on the draw. I don't know. That's why the matchup is pretty tough, though, because my deck is very, very clunky. And just, like, enough little things. Yeah, like there was like a lot. I don't know. Like the reason I think the reason I didn't cast Ancestral into Dismember Thalia is made sense. But the way the game played out, I mean, I don't know if my opponent had a second Thalia in hand, obviously, but Force, Lotus, Ruby, Dismember, Gaia's Blessing. I guess I'm gonna mulligan this. Wish I had literally any payoff, any Planeswalker, We just slam it. I have my Mox in hand, you know. Unlucky. Turn 1 Oath is not like always a game-winning play in this matchup. Is the problem. All right, do you have a Chancellor? Drawing the payoff, it doesn't matter. I need it on turn 1. Drawing the payoff wouldn't help me. I don't want to get Chancellored here. If I get Chancellored, I probably run a Ponder into it. Just gotta be basically hell. Sweet. They're on a mull to 5 at the moment. Every mull is like less likely they have a Chancellor, right? Excuse me. Nope, they had a Chancellor. I think I'm supposed to run this Ponder into the Chancellor. Black Lotus. Ancient Tomb go. Interesting. Hopefully we just Ancestral into a Wasteland. Or just draw the Wasteland, I guess. Yeah, we're pretty much in Show Me Your Secrets mode here. Oh, they are just 100% dead. Okay, cool. Yeah, this is like the problem with Mono White, is it's a turbo deck that has lots of bad mulligans. Oh, the 40k League was fun. Definitely agree with that. Hell yeah. Pretty competitive deck, actually. All right, I have Renin 6 Wasteland lock. My opponent can concede at any time. Time walk. Ponder. Oath. Okay, sure. Oh, I don't get to time walk this way. Did I do this wrong? No, it probably doesn't matter. Whatever. I believe we have Vanquish the Mono White Gamer. Yeah, I do think we drew pretty okay and opponent drew kind of bad. It's definitely true. I mean, I don't think the Ancestral Recall in Game 2 mattered much, but when you have Ancestral on the play, it's definitely a lot different. Wait, my Ancestral in Game 1 didn't even resolve. What's Elf-Kid complaining about? I had one Ancestral that didn't resolve and one Ancestral that discarded 2 cards. This Ancestral was much better for what it's worth. my Ancestral got Chancellor Chalice. Nah, but those were some weird games, though. Kind of low power. All right, here we go. Round 5 of 6. Put us in a good spot if we can win this one. We were paired up against the Jeskai Master, Unlucky Monkey. Got a decent looking hand. Willing to keep. The Jeskai Master has kind of turned into more of a 4-color Lurrus deck recently. Questing Druid and Renin 6 being the green splash. But Tomas, powerful wizard, I must say. The good news is that typically in game one they skimp on one cost counter spells, like Spell Pierce. So it's just a pile of forces. Bad news, they have a bunch of Swords to Plowshares, which are pretty good against my Oaths. And they also have a bunch of Wastelands. So, yeah. I'm looking at something like Fetchland Pass, so I don't get Wastelanded. Slam an Oath. Wasteland of my own. Well, the problem is the basic that you want to play in this deck is Island, and Island doesn't cast Renin 6. I find that to be extremely problematic. I would absolutely love to play an Island in my deck. I just don't think you can. It's definitely part of the deck construction issue with this deck for sure. I mean, I'm thinking about like playing only one Orchard, but then I don't like. Then I can play with one Orchard, one extra Volk, one Island, one Fetch, and then I don't know, maybe some crop rotations or something. I don't know. There's got to be something, but all right, pass. So the last time Unlucky Monkey played his deck, it was 1 misstep, 2 negation, 4 force, no other counter spells. So they do have the option of like questing druiding into counter spells here. But they'd have to have double force, so pretty sure we're just jamming an Oath. This is probably going to be questing Druid. Seek the Beast. Yep. They hit Force Black Lotus, so they have the double force. It's quite good. Force pitching. Ponder. They did not have the double force. So I have a Resolve Oath, but my opponent does have a Lotus. This was quite a good questing Druid. I have an Ancestral, Time Walk and an Ancestral coming, though. But of course, they can just, like, Swords both my Atraxas, and we have to play a long game with Okos and stuff. So, it's kind of tough. Could be a long match. It's a really sweet questing Druid use right there. Hit the Force, hit the Black Lotus. No, both won't trigger. But, like, what I'm saying is that I think they're more likely to be, like, get 2 swords and kill both of my Atraxas. That's something that definitely happens in this matchup. If my opponent like plays their own red and 6 and shoots the spirit token, we just need to wait one more turn. And we actually have a time walk, so it's not like we're really waiting one more turn. I haven't been playing too much Magic. I've been pretty engrossed in the new TFT set. But the Magic I have played has been very fun. I don't really feel like the 4 Ponder has changed very much. It has made Doomsday slightly stronger. That's mostly it. We're going to seek another beast. Preordained dig through time. Maybe they're just like looking for a Ren 6. Or maybe they're just looking for swords. I don't know. I do really like Questing Druid. It's basically what Expressive Iteration was supposed to be, but actually castable. But opponent still plays Expressive Iteration anyways, so. Looks like they're going to dig then. So they're going hard trying to find one of their 2 Ren and 6s is what I would suspect is happening. I don't really feel like that gets them out of their situation, though. Bring, bring. Are we going to cast the other Ponder, or do we find a Ren to kill our Spirit token here? No, that doesn't cast Ren, so... Time Walk. Okay, reset. Go to the next one. So 4 cards in hand for the monkey, 2 Questing Druids in exile. Ponder. I guess technically I should say Ponder has made my opponent's deck better. The problem is the only person who plays my opponent's deck is my opponent. For what it's worth, they do very, very well, but I couldn't tell you that the deck is the reason. It's really funny. If you look at the vintage output from the other data person, they have like a tier list style output thing. And Jeskai is like one of the highest win rates in the last 3 months or whatever, but it's just almost the only data is like almost all from Unlucky Monkey. And I am calling this deck Jeskai, even though it's green. Maybe that needs to change. It's basically the same exact deck, just splashing green, and doesn't really feel like it changed very much. It's functionally the same deck. Oh, the deck is cool. The deck is fun. I'm sure. It's like very much a legacy deck, right? But that doesn't mean it's good. So they have Ren 6 and they have Wasteland. Nice. So they have successfully stopped my Oath from triggering, but I have Orchard Time Walk because I'm a sack. I do need to them not have Force of Will, right? I guess I could just not Time Walk and just use the Orchard on their turn, right? Maybe we just bait with Ancestral. I guess I just play around. My opponent doesn't play Daze, but let's just play around Daze. All right. So at this point, I guess I can just play a Lotus to Time Walk. I don't have a Blessing anymore, which is a little awkward. Let's Blessing back, Ancestral Walk, and Lotus. Drew my Atraxa, no! I hate this game. Oh, I hope 1 Atraxa gets the job done here. I hope we don't lose too much of our library doing it. Oh, we lost a lot of our library because it's lagging. Oh, not that much. Time Walk, Dack, Null Rod. We found our own Ren and 6. Cruise is great. Negation is fine, probably. I guess another Wasteland. I'd probably just take an Oath. Done. Draw. I would just use the mana, I think. So, what do we want to do? Probably Cruise. Not an Oko. It's probably what I want more than anything else, really. Especially when I know it's resolving. And I just pitch some Wastelands. Alright, so my opponent has 4 cards, 2 Questing Druids. I have a counter. I guess I shouldn't have played Oko because I could have double force up. So maybe I should have just played the Ren. I can't activate my Oath anymore, so I guess I should have just discarded this other Oath. So I'm Strip Mine locked at the moment. They get to play a Questing Druid. I could just steal the Questing Druid if I wanted to. Oh, they're not even going to bother with Strip Mining. They would have to play 3 spells for me not to be able to steal it, right? I could just turn it off. I feel like there's a lot of correct answers here. I'm lagging like crazy. Y'all seeing this? I wish I had another blue card. I should attack them. Like, do I care about this running 6? I don't know. Like, does anything I do matter? Can I lose this game? I mean, they have a lot of cards. I guess I'm also like wasteland locking them. Looks like they're gonna swords me second main so that I can't hard cast negation here. Red green combat step. Seek the beast. They hit Ren and 6 Pearl. What creatures do they hit? Ragavans and Questing Druids. It's interesting they're playing no Dreadhorde Arcanists. If they swords, I probably negation pitch cast force. If they play Ren and 6, I don't really care. I just attack it or something. Like if I oath, it oaths them into like a Ragavan or a Questing Druid. And there's already there's only one Questing Druid left, so like that doesn't even matter. I don't know. Oh, they still have Lurrus. Man, I'd love a Lurrus. I steal it. Oh, I can actually wasteland them off Lurrus though, right? I could also turn off this Pearl as well. Does that feel even necessary though? Do I want to hold open I want to hold open negation or oh, this doesn't trigger on green spells. Okay. I don't know. Just casting things, man. What do I know? I shouldn't have like bought a thing back with Ren. I should have pinged a spirit, I guess. Whatever. I feel like I'm playing so badly, but like doesn't matter. It's kind of annoying. But like plussing Ren is good because eventually I can just loop time walks, right? Okay. My opponent is off of it. I don't know what we were really doing there, but we do it for fun. All right. So post board, they have one Nature's Claim, 3 Pyroblast, another Swords, 2 Wear Tear, and a Negation. This matchup looks abysmal. I assume this matchup is not great. They don't even have like a lot of good cards to bring in. Definitely take out Energy Flux and Null Rod and play at least Dismember, Trap, I guess. I mean, Negation's not even that good against them either. How many Dismembers do I really want to play for this deck? Like, this deck has 3 Ragavans, 4 Questing Druids, and a Lurrus. I feel like the answer is not many. I do want Negations for Ren, though, right? Whatever. This is probably close enough. Yeah, this feels like it'll be tough. Three three Pyroblast post board is pretty good against our deck. It hits like a lot of our major cards. Besides the 2-drops. The 2-drops do not get Pyroblasted, which is nice. And then Wear Tear, Nature's Claim. Might be tough to enact the Oath plan. Should be interesting. Gotta make sure I restart after this match, though. Man, I really wish we had a basic in our deck, huh? God, are we playing Ruby Dash Ragavan on turn 1? That's a classic monkey line. Nope. Gaia's Blessing has been drawn again. I think I like the idea of walking. Feel like it'll give me some breathing room. And if it gets countered, do we care? Not really. Looks like it's going to get countered. Or maybe they're just going to cast Ancestral. Flusterstorm on my Time Walk. I think we're like pretty fine with that. Don't think I care too much there. We both have the same opener, but mine looks better. Means I'm the worst player. Let's be real. Passive iteration off of Mox Ruby. What a beast. The only player in all of Vintage who gets away with that life. Beast mode. Another Orchard, huh? This one also gonna get Pyroblasted? Maybe I just counter all my spells and I die? Be pretty interesting. I don't think I'm supposed to like wasteland this Volcanic. I'm probably gonna wasteland this Tropical, which is why I didn't wasteland first, and I'm letting them Pyroblast this if they want. Definitely don't want to give them a creature. Wasteland, sure. 4 cards in hand for the opponent. Scroll? No. Yeah, we're gonna get bullied in this matchup, I think. It's just really tough. You kind of have to high roll them. That's a way to high roll them. No way they have force blue card? Oh, the last 2 cards were force blue card. Or 2 of the last 3 cards were force blue card. Wow. Yeah, I guess we're dead, huh? We have been thoroughly dismantled by Delver here. Very gross. Super gross. I mean, we cast all of our spells. Just all of our spells got countered. I'm gonna cast a Gaia's Blessing and target myself and put back Ponder Time Walk. Dack Faden, not great here. They're gonna cast an end of turn Seek the Beast, I guess, is what's happening. No. Okay. I don't see how we can realistically win this game. No shuffle, wasteland. I don't need a Ren 6. No, like 2 turns ago. Drew Atraxa. None of this is going very well for me. This game is going to be over very quickly after I tap my orchards to give them 2/1/1s. But I don't have any action, so I have to make a play, right? All right. Plays are being made. I don't have a Gaia's Blessing in my deck, unfortunately. I feel like they just have like Nature's Claim or Wear Tear in their hand, so it's not like this Oath is actually good enough, but we can try. That's all we got. Our Dack lives. That's cute. Plateau Gaming. All right, what do I need here to resolve an Oath? That's probably part of it. No, I drew both of them. Mm. I drew the Gaia's Blessing and both my Atraxas. Bluff it for what? For what reason? To do what? Doesn't help me. They didn't scoop to a in-play Atraxa for 4 turns last game. I think I'm just gonna go to the next game here. Don't see what we're really accomplishing. Yeah, but like I'm not gonna win. I'm not gonna win that way either. Like that's also like not going to win me the game. Like my opponent has a million cards in hand. I don't have a lot of time. I'm pretty sure there's like no line here. I'm just done. I'm done here. Super gross. We were just on the draw and my opponent just delvered us out, countered all of our spells and killed us. Not much we could have really done realistically. Draw a better hand. I need to get off Twitter. I'm getting spoiled. Don't spoil me. All right. All right, we're on the play now. Hopefully we don't get all of our draw spells countered and then wastelanded to death. Certainly a viable strategy if you have Ancestral Recall and Wasteland. You simply don't let your opponent play. All right, game 3. Plenty of time on the clock. It's going to be tough, though. Matchup is rough. Looking for turn 1 Oath with Orchard and Force backup. Yeah? Oh, no. Is this a keep? Not like this, man. I hate these hands so much. All right. That went okay. Sapphire. Stop it. Stop it. Let me have some Moxen. Honda. Okay. They do have more Moxen than us by 1. We did draw Ancestral, though, so we don't get to complain. it's just real awkward, okay? It was just a little bit of a mess. All right, they chose not to shuffle with Ponder and then Wasteland. Fair enough. Looks like we'll overdraw here because we didn't draw any Moxen, though, right? That's certainly part of a problem. Did not draw a Moxen. Do I want Wrenn and 6, Mindbreak Trap, or Retracts? I don't want any of these magic cards. I mean, I want a Wrenn and 6, but I don't have the mana to cast a Wrenn and 6, so. Found a Wrenn and 6 anyways. Noted. Gonna get rid of this Flusterstorm, I think. Don't really see a situation where I'm ever casting a Flusterstorm with this hand. The fact that they have their blue mana on their Sapphire here, not ideal. Are they seeking the beast? Is that what's happening? Are they Ragavan? Ragavan? And a Ruby? My Wasteland plan does not look very good right now. Looks like it's a... Oh, it's a main phase Seek the Beast. For a Preordain and a Dig Through Time. Okay, so they lose a Dig Through Time, but they get to cast a cantrip. Pretty cool play. Top. Attack. All right, I'm definitely walking here to try to find... Ooh. I mean, I still think I'm walking here. They have a force? Huh. It's very awkward. My opponent's deck is just better at cantripping than mine. I also, like, we could really have used some Moxen off our Ancestral, yeah. All right, we got rid of a Treasure Cruise, though. That's certainly an upside. The Expressive Iteration. Expressive Iteration off a Sapphire Ruby. Got him. Easy gaming. Plateau, Sapphire, no problem. The mana just works. Strip Mine. Jeez. I need Moxen, man. I need Moxen so bad. The key to these Wasteland mirrors is just have better Moxen, yeah? Like, Wasteland is the best land in Vintage right now, and the way you beat it is basics and Moxen. Brennan 6. What a godlike gamer. We're losing a game where I resolved Ancestral Recall, which is not a good sign. It's just really, it's a really bad sign. It's really, really, really bad for me. we're just dead. We're just dead because our Ren and 6 deck got Wasteland locked. You love to see it. Wasteland is a menace. Simply, I mean, maybe Moxen are just better than Ancestral in this matchup. So frustrating. What do I even do? I have to draw a Lotus, I guess. Man, we have kind of gotten bullied today. What a hard tournament. Kind of brutal. It didn't really hit the subsection of the metagame that we would have liked. Yeah. Looking a little over here. Vintage is just a Wasteland format. All right. I guess we're dead. It's just impossible to play the game out if I don't have my own Moxen, huh? I guess at any point I could technically draw Oath. But I don't have any forces. I don't really have anything. I have 2 and 3 mana cards, and my opponent has kept me from having lands, right? If I draw a Black Lotus, I can play an Orchard, play an Lotus, tap Lotus for blue, dig through time with Flusterstorm, and still make green and play Oath. Oh, they're going to cast their own Delve spell first. Doesn't matter. Ugh, it's just a tight grip of the Delver. Too strong. I think it's just Black Lotus. I mean, even if I draw Black Lotus, I don't even think it's good enough. But I think it's realistically just Black Lotus. I just keep drawing Okos. Having a bad time, having a bad time. Nothing like the Tundra Ren and 6 deck to put you in its place by showing you who has a better mana. You see, I'm concerned about playing a basic island in my Ren and 6 deck, but Tundra, no problem. They're about to ultimate this Ren. All right, Black Lotus. Force of Negation. Awesome. All right, get me out of this game. Unlucky for the monkey who is me. Rough. 5-0 Discover N. 4-1 DM. So basically, Doomsday's undefeated. Fire Truck 4-1. Sheer Khan 4-1. Some Turbo Volt Key. Brutal. Savage. Wrecked. All right, here we go for our 6th and final round of the Vintage Challenge up against a possible Countervine opponent. Our hand is medium at best, but probably a keep against a blind field. We don't know that they're on Countervine. Nope, they're on Countervine. Okay. 2 Vengevines gone. I would say we technically have a shot at top 8. I wouldn't think we would get in, but there's like a chance you get in from here. Pretty sure I'm supposed to get another trop here, and then we're pondering mostly for lands, especially Wasteland. Black Lotus, don't think is good. This looks like a shuffle. I mean, I guess technically we can besage you their thing. So maybe it's fine. We take the Black Lotus and we draw it and play it for this turn, and then we pass. And then on our next turn, we have Orchard, Beseiju, Time Walk, Fluster, Oko, Cruise. Yeah, I think this is fine. I could technically hold this Lotus. I think it's better to play now around Trap. Gives us more choices on the next turn. All right, Bazaar activate. 2 Vines are already gone. 2 Force of Wills are already gone. It was a 6 card on the draw keep. 2 Root Wallas and a Squee. This looks like a spot where I would force a hollow one, maybe. All right, so draw and play land. Make blue and Beseiju. It's like a little awkward. I can't actually protect my Oko with a Flusterstorm. I have to protect it with a Force. Yeah, I'm considering it. But like, what if they have Force plus Trap or something? I think it's still the highest upside. Like, if they counter this Oko, we have to counter back, right? Maybe not. We knew we were drawing Cruise, so we knew we couldn't hit a land drop to give us Flusterstorm back up. I did forget that point here. Are they going to Vigor it? No. I mean, I think I am supposed to just hit this. Next turn we Cruise. Well, they have 4 negations. They have 6 total forces left in their deck. They probably just have a second Bazaar, realistically. No, they have a Noxious. I mean, I'm just gonna force it. All right. I technically have enough cards in my yard to cruise as well. They have double Noxious. Sick. Awesome. Gaming. All right. Notably bad for me. Maybe I'll draw a Wasteland off the top. They pitch 2 Wastelands and a Squee. Interesting game. Oh, well, attack all at Oko. Take out the green Ruwala, I guess. And a hollow one. Think we're supposed to give them a spirit so we can draw Wasteland. This wouldn't kill Oko. If I elk the hollow one, I put Oko to 1. The downside is if they counter my cruise, it's like way worse. Unfortunately, if I make a food, let this hit Oko and block, it doesn't actually save my Oko. It's a problem. Pretty sure we're just supposed to try to draw Wasteland. Hope they don't have Force Blue card. Based and good. Yep. Squee. Man, Countervine is disgusting. Another 1/1. Another hollow one? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. What a great deck this is. A+. Oh, another one? I mean, I'm not even going to live. So I've already used Walk. Guess an Oath is still winning from here. So a Ponder's pretty good. An Oath is still winning from here, so I just can't draw a good card. Why you be like this? I have Eat, Ancestral, Ponder, Oath. Force of Vigor green card won't matter. I would trigger the Oath regardless. Now it's too late though, obviously. Like, this game was winnable at many points. Just didn't happen. Sick. Oh, yeah. We got 4 Ponder in our deck. Mm-hmm. Just not getting there. I don't even have ley lines. I have rab traps. Not ideal. Probably just want all the oath targets. Maybe not. Maybe it's just the Sarahs. If I just play Sarahs, I can cut Gaia's Blessing, right? Man. Brutal. Felt like we were in a decent spot in that game, too. It just all kind of slipped away. Wasteland, Ancestral, Besiege you. Yeah. Thanks. It's a little late. We're on the back foot here in the last round, but I appreciate it. Is Ponder that good in Vintage over Preordain? So Ponder was restricted and Preordain was not, if that helps you determine the answer to that question. Squee, Trap, Rootwalla, Hollow One, End Step, Claim the Hollow One. Untap. Oh, wow. In that case, we just play an oath. You have to have double. I was gonna like Wasteland and Ponder and stuff, but I mean we have Oath Fluster. We should probably make it happen. Mindbreak, Trap, Negation. Fluster. So now they have to have another Force or a Force of Vigor. All right. So this looks like a win, right? You just flip over an Emissary and they're locked. Unless they have a snapback, I guess. Could always name instant, to be honest. Wonder if we should. I guess we can just look at their last deck list. They're pretty unlikely to have changed. There are 2 snapbacks. Okay, I'm gonna name instant. It's not like they're gonna kill me through Sarah's Emissary here. Should be able to trap them this turn too. So they used a misstep, so we can technically trap them. I'm gonna go to end step. See if they. I mean, they don't have anything left. Cool. All right. Well, I don't even think I need to flip over my second oath here. Just win the race. So if it's my last card, I lose. So I'll just not flip over. Just get rid of this hollow one too. Doesn't change the clock at all. Same number of swings. Yeah, they have just no outs to this, so. We're just duking it out. 1/7/7 Angel versus 1/1/1 Lizard. Who will win? I guess technically they could have 2 Furies. But they don't even have 2 Furies in there. Oh, they have 4 Furies in their 75. That's actually kind of interesting. But they also have 3 Pyrokinesis. Like, they shouldn't have any Furies, probably. Or maybe they have some Furies to kill off, like, 1/1s or something to buy a turn. So maybe there's a world where they could have had double Fury there. But then we just, like, play another Orchard and make a new Emissary. So it's not a huge deal. Okay. Now they know we have Ravenous Trap, though. Yeah, I mean, I would assume they have no Furies post-board, but they have a lot of... They have 8 Fury effects. 7 Fury effects. I mean, Ravenous Trap is so much worse than Leyline, but I think you're just supposed to play it anyways. Well, that hand's bad. That hand is also bad. Or is it? I think it's bad. If I had like a Tabernacle, I could probably keep it. I mean, they kept 7, so we're dead, but... The first hand is not remotely a keep. Not remotely a keep. Why do people keep asking me we can't keep that? Like... My opponent's decks are vintage decks. They're broken in half. You need to be able to address what they're doing. I think this one's closer because I technically have a hollow one answer. I just lose to a Vengevine draw. I think this 6 is fine. Like, the Wasteland is the most important card. It's true. But you can't just have Wasteland and expect to beat Squee. Triple Squee? 7 cards, triple Squee? At least I drew a Force for the Noxious. I drew a blue card for Force. But I'm sure they have, like, double Bizarre anyways, right? 3 cards going back to their hand. Sick. All right. Do they have a second Bizarre? The age-old question. It's impossible. The deck is impossible to beat. There is simply no way you can beat this deck if they keep 7. Triple Squee, double Bizarre, Noxious Revival. Like, we're dead. We just died. Quadruple Squee. That's a good draw, actually. Ruby has got to be like one of my absolute best possible draws here for anyone wants to know. That is my best draw, probably. I mean, Black Lotus would be my best draw. Actually, Black Lotus would not be my best draw. Ruby's actually better than Black Lotus. That was probably the best draw in my deck. So second Noxious. It doesn't matter. Nothing matters. My opponent just draws 2 extra cards every turn for free. For free. I can't actually Flusterstorm back up here. It's hilarious. I mean, I can. It's just not good. They didn't put that many Squeeze in the yard this time. I mean, they have a counter spell because they didn't put a Master in the yard. They have double Force, dude. Like the deck, you cannot beat the deck if it keeps 7. If the deck keeps 7, it's just a win. It's a win. It's over. There's no counterplay. Actually, the counterplay is if I had a Leyline of the Void, right? That's the counterplay. But I didn't even draw my Ravenous Trap, so it means I wouldn't have had a Leyline of the Void anyways. Triple Squee, 3rd Bizarre in the top 17, by the way. 5th Bizarre, really. Infinite. They are drawing infinite cards. A Tabernacle is not good here. Tabernacle is not winning here. Nothing is winning here. It's impossible to win. Any play I get gets countered. Rest in peace, my top 8 performance. You tried your best, Justin, but your best was not good enough. Brutal. Savage. Wrecked. We do not need a random 4 mana or 3 mana, whatever, garbage Tyrannid card. Thank you, though. Good idea. I appreciate the attempt. It would not, but that's nice. Noxious Revival on my Force of Will to time walk me. Nothing I do matters, man. Disgusting deck. I had to play against all the grossest decks in Vintage today. I had to play against Doomsday, Countervine. All the decks that people want back by restricting Saga. I didn't get to get... I got so few free wins from playing against Saga. It's so frustrating. How many Saga decks did I even play against? One. I only played against one Saga deck, and I got my free win. Actually, two. I went 2-0 versus Saga decks, and then I played against 4 non-Saga decks. This is so cheating. This is just absolutely cheating. Oh, they found the 4th Bazaar in their top 26 cards. Ah, very good. Yes. They're drawing 7 cards a turn because they have 5 squeeze. I might win the game here, actually, if I hit Oath. I actually would have won the game if I hit Oath because they drew no forces. That's kind of hilarious. They have 1 card left. If I had drawn Oath for turn, I would have won the game. That's absurd. That's crazy. I actually would have won the game right there if I drew Oath. Maybe not, because I would have to name instant. And they have 2 vines. So maybe not. But like a reasonable chance of winning the game if I had drawn Oath there. Damn. That's kind of wild, actually. What a weird sequence of cards. They have 7 cards in hand right now. They had 1 card in hand at the end of last turn, and now they have 7 cards in hand. Ow. Do I die to that? Yeah, I die to that. So I guess Oath would not have won the game. I, in fact, lied to chat. I'm sorry. I didn't expect to getting hit for 15. That's my bad. I was wrong. Disgusting. Just gross. So I guess we will not be top 8ing, but to be fair, going 3-3 would not be reasonable. We beat Jewel. Well, Jewel kind of beat Jewel. And then we beat the best blue-black Lurrus player. And then we lost to the second best or best Doomsday player. And then we beat Mono White. Lost to Jeskai Splashing Green. And lost to Countervine. Not a bad day. Like, obviously I'm complaining a lot at the end, but it happens. Like everything kind of worked out today. It's kind of rough. I really think all the Saga matchups are good. Unfortunately, we only got to play against 2 Saga decks today. Feels like maybe people are learning. Probably not, but I can say that, right? No, probably not. I don't really like this deck. I think that my conclusion is this deck is just too clunky. It's pretty bad, I think. Especially I played 2 main deck anti-Saga cards and I just did not face Saga at all, really. Ponder is like garbage, unfortunately, in this deck because you can't fetch Basic Island. If I had a Basic Island, then maybe Ponder gets better, but like half of my draws are Forbidden Orchards. It's really hard to play Basic Island because you have Wrenn and 6. This deck is just like the other problem is I played against the other Ponder decks. I played against 4-color Delver and I played against Doomsday, and both of those decks are just infinitely better at using 4 Ponder than my deck. My deck is just a terrible 4 Ponder deck. I think it's really bad. Yeah, I don't really think if the metagame is going to trend this way that we should be playing this deck over Oath and Tell. But I don't think you should be playing Oath and Tell if the meta is going to try to trend away from Lurrus Saga. So kind of a rough spot, really. Don't know. It'll depend on what the metagame looks like and the data actually says. But if I'm looking at the people who are winning here, it's 6-0 Discover N on Doomsday, Countervine, Turbo Volkey, Jeskai Pile. Like, this is... Will there be... I mean, this is... will be a Saga gamer. A couple Saga gamers in the top 8, maybe 2, maybe 4. It could be between 2 and 4, I guess. It does feel like we had a legitimate, I guess, Duck, Fire Truck, and DM one, so they would have lost, so they would have been in probably. I don't think we would jump. Oh, and Sun Q1. Okay, so I mean, even if we won, we probably were not top 8ing. So, not a bad stream though. I think there was a lot of cool things happening. Appreciate everyone hanging out. Hope you really enjoyed it. If you're watching on YouTube, thanks. More content every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I'll see you then.